Hey guys, Nate, the Otter Outdoorsman here. Now, I'm going to talk to you guys about your car. Now, winter's coming, and that means we should start carrying some basic things in our car. I usually carry a little bit less than what I'm going to show you, but just some good ideas of things to keep in your car, because you never know when your car's going to break down. This was recently brought on by a accident, not really an accident that I had with my car this past week, but where I got a flat by my tire eating a brake pad off the road, and I was stuck on the side of the road for a good hour while waiting for help to come because the jack that I had really wasn't that good. So that brings up my first point. You should always have some car maintenance things in your car. And I feel like unburying my my jumper cables or my the current car jack I have in here, but you should have a good car jack that you've tested before, that lifts up your car enough so you can change your tire. You should know how to change your tire, and you should also know how to do some basic car maintenance. Now let's discuss some of the items that you should keep in your car for the winter, so that if you either get caught in the snow or you go out to your car and you need to unbury it, just some of the things that you should keep in your car in case of emergencies. So I'll bring you in some of the things that I carry, and a couple of things I've been adding to it since I've started driving this SUV the past 6 months. So I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer and show you what we got. Okay guys, so we have just a couple items here that I really think everyone should generally keep in the car, well, especially the brushes that I have here. Shovel's usually optional, but it's useful. There's multiple types of brushes out there that you can use, but if you live in an area that it's snowy, or even if you don't during the winter, it's good to keep one of these things in your car. Having even like a small retractable shovel is good, because you can, if your car gets pushed in by a plow, you can work on shoveling out and you don't have to makeshift a shovel. It's also good if there's more than a foot of snow on top of your car, you can kind of reduce the size a little bit. Then from here, usually I keep generally about 2 or 3 different types of brushes in my car. One is these type of models right here, where it has a ice scraper on one side and a single brush on the other. It's good because on like light cover, you can kind of brush it off, and if you have ice, you can kind of, obviously you got to scrape it off your windshield. Another good thing to keep, I actually like these retracting models, where with this kind of push brush, and the reason being is because it's really useful with certain areas where instead of having to brush it if it's a lot of snow, I can literally just push it off. I'll show you more of that later this winter. Also, sometimes having a small one like this is good because it gets you into those tight areas. Now, the reason I carry multiple snow brushes in my car is I actually have had these break on me before. But on top of that, if you have a friend with you, or you have someone else with you, it's good because you can hand them a brush as well, and it gets the job done quicker. I also generally keep like one in my trunk. I keep one next to my. I keep one in the passenger seat and one in my back seat, depending on where I can get to. I always have a brush at my use. Okay, so let's talk about some emergency-based things for the winter that would be useful. Now, you don't always need to carry these things, but a lot of us do, and it's really good to think about. Again, I mentioned the emergency jumper cables and the jacks. Those are good to have. Also some basic tools. But let's think about just some basic, let's say your car breaks down. Now, often when I carry, before I show any of this stuff, I usually have a wool blanket and a sleeping bag. Having a wool blanket like this is good to keep in your car, because if your car breaks down and it's cold out, sometimes during blizzards, they won't be getting to you for an hour or so. And say you either get into an accident, or I don't know, say for some reason your car can't start, this will help keep you warm. I've actually I've been in a couple accidents where I didn't actually have a wool blanket, and I wish I did, because, well, it was cold and I needed warmth. Luckily, help came right away. Not always necessary if you live in an urban environment like I do, but maybe something like a fire starter, like a ferro rod, would be useful to keep in your trunk, unless you know, if you're like me and you keep your haversack in your car in case of the most spontaneous hike in the woods. Something like this may not be necessary to keep, but having some fire starting method in your car is good to have. I prefer having a ferro rod and matches over a lighter in my car because, well, in hot weather, lighters can go off, and also lighters can run out of fuel. And I'm very confident with lighters and a match to get a fire started. So I know I can rely on this. Sometimes it's also good to keep some water in your car. During the winter, this will freeze. Something like this will be a solid block of ice, but if you have something like the Stanley kit, or have some metal container to boil water or melt snow in, you'll be able to stay hydrated. Some of these items are a lot more long-term. I rarely had to use these because the rescues come right away. Sometimes also, something like an axe, just a hatchet or something that you can chop wood with. Again, not necessary, but if you're going into the woods, have something to chop wood. If you're going deep into the woods. Sometimes also, I keep something like a pack of cards, but things like these this hasn't been opened. I have a couple other packs laying around. You also got to think about other things to keep in your car. I sometimes keep some sort of bag, but these are in my car anyways. I believe everyone on a normal basis should have some forms of rope. This is just one hank of rope that I have in my car. I have hundreds of feet of rope in my car because I'm a rope addict and I always find uses for it. Everything from helping friends move to tying something up. You know what to do with rope. Sometimes also it's good to keep just some warm clothes, like I keep a pair of pajamas in my car usually in case I need to spend the night somewhere. And may not have to spend the night in my car, but stay over at a friend's house. So yeah. So these are just some basic emergency tools you should keep in your car. Usually keep them in your trunk, but again, remember, obey laws in your area. Things like if they don't want you to keep an axe in your car, don't keep an axe. Yeah, also sometimes you got to think some of this also isn't to cover your regular kit or what you carry on you. So if you carry an EDC, like say if you have a knife on you all times, you may not need to keep one in your trunk, but if you're like me and you keep a lot of your bushcrafting equipment in your car, if you have a box of broken bow drill sets like I do, a knife's not that far away. Or a broken umbrella. But cordage, you'll find everywhere. I have jute twine, various lengths of polycord and paracord, and even random length fishing line. You never know when you need this stuff. But you'll also find, having things that can help you in an emergency are good to keep in your trunk. And you're not carrying it around. You should know the mechanics of your car, know how to change tires and stuff like that, read the owner's manual. If you don't know how to change a tire, I suggest having someone teach you. It's an invaluable skill to have. I started when I was about 14, if not younger, and I even learned when I was in school how to change a tire, do some basic maintenance on my car. Things like that will possibly help you in the winter. And around here in New England, we can get anywhere from a dusting of snow to 3 feet in one go. And having some of the stuff in your car may help you if you get stuck somewhere because of that blizzard. A lot of these things, again, this is more geared towards an urban winter scenario, the stuff that are in my car, but that's because normally with me, if I'm going into the woods, I'm going to have all my normal basic equipment along with some added stuff. and a lot of the other times, things I'm going to need in here, I'll be in an urban environment. I'll be near a lot of things. Because I don't really live in a big city, but I do live in a city-ish area. So these things aren't, I recommend looking at your weather channel, seeing what this winter is supposed to be like. Around here in New England, we're supposed to have a cold, bitter winter. So think about carrying these type of things in your car. I recommend them to everyone. Even something as simple as a sleeping bag or a wool blanket, just in case you break down. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. So these have been some thoughts about what you should carry in your car. And my name is Nate. I'm the Otter Outdoorsman. Stay safe, stay warm, have a good day.